Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and welcome to a new really important subject if you want to be improving as a Zerg player. Today we are going to be covering the Overlords. Now Overlords, for anyone who doesn't know what Overlords are, they are those flying disgusting thingies that fly over the map when you're a Zerg player. And the equivalent for the Terrans are obviously supply depots, and the equivalent for the Protoss are pylons. And yeah, I mean everyone that's watching this video probably knows what a Overlord is, right? So we are going to cover two different subjects in this video. First of all, we are going to discuss supply blocks, because supply blocks are terrible. And second of all, we are going to talk about positionings of Overlord in all the different Zerg matchups. So first of all, how to never ever get supply blocked anymore in any matchup, what doesn't really matter what. Okay, first of all, you will need to know a few standard Overlord timings. Now they differentiate a little bit depending on what kind of a build order you go for, but I can name them off really quickly. The first Overlord, 9 supply. The second one is at 15, 16 or 17 supply, kind of depends what you're going for. Then the third one at 23 supply, and then the last one at 31 supply. Those are like the complete standard ones. I know a few programmers like taking them at a little bit of a different timing, but that is basically what you're going for. Now after that, I'm going to assume you know those timings. After that, what I would advise you to do pretty much always is actually make enough Overlords to cover the amount of queens that you have that are injecting. So let's say you're on 3 race, Zerg versus Protoss, and you're around 44 supply-ish. What you're going to start to do is actually make Overlords according to the amount of queens that you have. So let's say, well, maybe in Zerg vs Protoss it's a little bit early, but the equivalent of Zerg vs Terran maybe, when you're passing around 80 supply and you have 3 queens injecting, you want to be starting to make 3 Overlords at a time before you're starting any kind of production cycle. So you take a look at your supply, you're like, oh, getting close to the supply block. What I'm going to start to do as soon before I start to make any kind of drones or units or whatever, I'm going to start a few Overlords, and then I'll go back into unit or drone or building production or whatever. So before you make anything, always make Overlords, and always make them according to the amount of queens that you have injecting. Obviously, you will need to take a little bit of a look at how many units you're losing, and if you lost any Overlords and all that kind of jazz. But in general, that is a really good tip that definitely helped me out to never ever get supply block anymore. Now the second part, we're going to be talking about Overlord positioning. Now this is a little bit more of a complex subject, obviously, because there are different maps in StarCraft II and everybody plays it a little bit differently. And you also have, like, as soon as the best places are discovered, the Protoss and Terran players also know where those spots are, and they're actually blind countering that kind of stuff, and it all becomes a little bit of a weird game. But I can give you a few general guidelines. Zerg vs Terran wise, you either put your first Overlord behind their natural to check out if there's a natural going up, or if you can't do that, you actually put it in a pathway close to their base. So that allows you to have vision if they are moving out or not. The second Overlord is kind of in the same position, either at your main or at your natural to defend your natural base from bunker rush and all that kind of jazz, or you send it out in kind of a similar fashion as your first Overlord once again to spot a really important position such as the natural, or you put it at a really important position that units will always walk by. Besides that, in Zerg vs Terran, you always want to be spreading Overlords on, like, attack paths. So what would happen is that you put them on every single high ground that is on the map, and also you want to be spreading out all your Overlords across the map at possible drop locations. So you put them in dead air to just make 100% sure that you are going to be totally fine versus any kind of multiple drop aggression from him. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Zerg vs Terran. Obviously, this is a little bit map specific, and you will need to figure out exactly what the pros are doing. But this is in general a really nice way to approach a map. Zerg vs Protoss wise, your first Overlord always needs to check out if there's a Nexus going up, and always needs to be able to actually check out the 3rd and 4th gas guys of your Protoss opponent, because those basically tell you everything that you need to know as far as the attack that the Protoss is going for. The second Overlord I would always position at like a position that you can suicide it into the main base of your Protoss opponent, and you can actually check out what is going on. So let's say Daybreak, you actually put it behind the natural, so you can check out the 3rd and 4th gas guys in the natural itself, and then you put one of your second Overlord, or your second Overlord, you put that behind the main base, and you actually fly that in right around the 6.5, 7-ish minute mark. Besides that, you also want to be having a Overlord at the 3rd base of the Protoss player to know when he is taking that. I usually send my 3rd Overlord to the 3rd base on pretty much every single map. So once again, to sum it all up, First Overlord to spot the natural and the third and fourth gas. The second Overlord to actually spot the main base and potential suicide in there. The third Overlord to the third base, and you know exactly what is going on as far as Protoss goes. Now Zerg vs Zerg is a little bit plain. You only really need a few Overlords to spread across the map. Once again, I would advise you to send your first Overlord across the map to check if there's a natural. Second, also somewhat in that direction to cover like possible attack avenues. And the third Overlord, always take it one to the third. Besides that, on some maps such as Daybreak maybe you want to be spreading maybe 4 or 5 Overlords, but after that you want to be stacking them all in your main base. And yeah, that's pretty much it as far as Overlord positioning and Overlord supply blocks goes. I want to thank you guys all for watching, have an amazing day. If you aren't subscribed already, hit the subscribe button, don't forget to smile, and hopefully I will see you in the next episode, guys. Bye!